When the one who stays behind wakes up. I used to think I knew Dakota. I understood her smile, her silence, the way she opened her heart and then closed it. I used to think that love was all about strong emotions. That if you love someone enough, they will stay. I was wrong. And I only realized it when I stood alone in the cold kitchen, watching Dakota's back disappear behind the door, not turning back even once. But the story didn't start with separation. It started with light, with vibration, with the best version of me that Dakota had ever seen, the version that I didn't even know I had lost. The first time I met Dakota. That day, I went to the art exhibition just to kill time with friends. I didn't know much about art, but I liked the colors, liked the quiet atmosphere where people tried to find meaning in each piece of paint. Then I saw her, a girl standing in front of a dark blue painting, her eyes distant as if she were looking somewhere else. I asked for fun. "What do you think of this painting?" Dakota didn't look at me right away. She thought for a moment, then answered in a voice as soft as a breath. "It's like the feeling when you miss someone but don't know what to call it." That answer stunned me. Not because it was good, but because I realized, this girl lived deeply. So deeply that it made me feel shallow. We talked for the rest of the day. She didn't try to impress. She didn't show off. She just was real. And it was that truth that drew me in. That night, when I got home, I turned on the light in my room and asked myself, am I good enough to enter her world? A question I had forgotten when love became familiar. Love so beautiful it scared me. In the first weeks of our relationship, I always wanted to be with Dakota. The way she smiled, the way she tilted her head when I told her a story, the way she was a small piece of peace in my chaotic life. It all made me addicted. I called her every day. I took her to my favorite places. I told her about my dream of opening a coffee shop. Dakota listened with eyes I would never forget, warm and trusting. It was those eyes that scared me. I was afraid I wasn't worthy. Afraid that one day, I would disappoint her. But at that moment, love was stronger than fear. The crack wasn't from Dakota, it was from me. My job started to get stressful. Pressure built up, projects were unfinished, meetings were endless. I was tired, I was irritable, and I started to withdraw. Dakota did nothing wrong. But every time she asked, "Are you okay?" I felt vulnerable. I didn't want Dakota to see the worst of me. So I lied. "I'm busy. I'm tired. It's nothing." I avoided her, not because I didn't love her anymore, but because I believed Dakota deserved someone more stable than me. But Dakota waited. She was patient in a way that made me both grateful and breathless. I felt like a loser who was loved too much. And that feeling made me push her away. A rainy night and a word I regret forever. That day, I promised to pick Dakota up after work. But work didn't give me the chance to keep my word. I drank with my coworkers to forget the stress. When I realized it was late, I rushed to her in the pouring rain, smelling of alcohol. Dakota stood under the porch, wet with rain, her eyes so disappointed that it made my heart ache. "Where are you going?" she asked. I should have told the truth. I should have apologized. But my pride, exhaustion, and guilt mixed together into anger. "Can't you wait a minute? I'm busy." Dakota looked at me as if I had just broken something sacred between us. That night I apologized. She forgave me. But the crack had appeared, and it was me, not her. When love becomes pressure. I started working more. I had no time for Dakota. Yet she tried to keep us together. She offered to go here and there, cook my favorite meals, do little things to make me happy. But every time I saw her try, I felt like I was failing a little more. Dakota loved me too much. And I didn't have the courage to love her the way I did. I hid in work. I hid in meaningless dates. I hid in white lies that slowly turned toxic. And I thought I was protecting Dakota from the worst part of me. But in reality, I was destroying her. The concert ticket. I didn't cheat, but I did something almost as bad. I let someone else fill the void that Dakota deserved to hear from me. That night, a coworker asked me to go to a concert. I said yes because I didn't want to go home and face Dakota's sad eyes. I lied. I don't know why I lied, but when the words, "I'm going to meet a client," came out of my mouth, I knew I was pushing myself out of Dakota's life. When she held out the ticket and asked, "What is this?" I felt empty. I could have told the truth. But cowardice made me blame her. "You're always negative." When I said that, I hated myself. Dakota was silent, and that silence hurt more than crying or blaming. The day she left. That winter evening, I was on the phone, a seemingly normal call. I wasn't flirting, I was just smiling more than usual because for the first time in days, I felt my mind relax. Dakota stood by the door. I saw her reflection in the glass, and my heart sank. Her eyes no longer had the light for me. Dakota packed up. I stood there, silent, doing nothing. Not because I didn't want to keep her, but because I didn't think I had the right to keep her anymore. When the door closed, the sound was like the end of a part of my life. And I realized. Dakota didn't leave me. She left the worst version of me, the version I had become. The loss after a breakup. Without Dakota, the house felt so empty it felt like it was missing. The things she had touched still felt warm. I started to open old messages, listen to recordings of her voice to feel like I still existed with someone. After a while, I learned that Dakota had opened an art exhibition. I stood outside the gallery door, looking through the glass. Dakota looked gentle, mature, beautiful in a way I had never seen before. I didn't go in. Because I knew, her world no longer had room for me. The last call. I called Dakota on a rainy night, not to hold on, but because I missed the feeling of someone trusting me. When she said, "You're lonely, but you didn't choose me," I felt my chest collapse. Dakota didn't say it out of anger. She said it out of truth. And the truth hurt so much that I just kept quiet. When she hung up, I knew I had lost more than just one person. I had lost the only person who had ever seen me better than I thought I could. A late confession. If I had to say what I regret the most, it would be this. I let Dakota believe in my love for too long. So long that she lost herself. I loved Dakota. Really. But I never learned how to love without hurting others. Now, looking back, I understand. Dakota left not because she stopped loving me. It was because she chose herself. And that was the bravest thing she ever did. And me? I learned a lesson that will last a lifetime. Love doesn't need one person to try half-heartedly. It needs two people to be honest. And I wasn't honest enough to keep Dakota. Every time I pass the gallery where I first met Dakota, I stand before that deep blue painting. And every time I see myself in it, missing someone but not knowing what to call the feeling. Maybe it's regret. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's late adulthood. But whatever it is, I know. Dakota is the one person I wish I had loved properly from the start.